Hi all, Nick Watts here for We Love Betting. I've been battling with man flu all week, hence why I sound so bunged up, and also why my video is a touch late this week. It's Friday night as I'm recording here, but fortunately, as well as a bout of late winter flu, if you like, going around, there's also a bout of Sunday games, which is convenient for me because all three of my picks come from those Sunday fixtures. Just gives you an extra 24 hours to ponder what I have to say and ultimately make up your own minds. So let's get started then, and I'm starting with Liverpool West Ham. Liverpool, as ever, your typical kind of 1 to 3 price here against West Ham, but in fairness, you know, they're at home. They've been excellent against the smaller sides, if you like, no disrespect. At home against 9th and below, they've won 7, drawn 2 and lost 1. An impressive record that includes all 7 of those wins being to nil, and 5 of them being by 2 or more goals as well. Probably shows you where I'm going on that basis, given that West Ham also struggled to score goals away from home, just 9 goals scored on the road. That's the joint lowest along with Stoke. They've got a poor record away to top half teams as well. It's drawn 1, lost 6, and 5 of those defeats were by that 2-goal margin at least. So you can see my logic here. Although I quite like Liverpool to win to nil around sort of 7 to 5, I'm going for Liverpool -1, which is actually available at evens with Treble 8 Sport, and 10 to 11 a bit more widely if you haven't got an account with them. So either of those look acceptable to me. I think Liverpool should win this one fairly comfortably. On to the next game then, and Newcastle-Fulham. Newcastle just equalled goals so far this season, and I find it a bit remarkable that you've been able to get the kind of price you can for them to get over 2.5 goals when they do it so consistently. They've conceded in 9 straight games overall. They've scored in 9 straight home games, conceded in 80% of home games overall, and in the last 5 at St James's Park. 56 goals they've conceded in all, which is on a par with Wigan in terms of defence. And when you compare that to last year, it's just a transformed back line, and for me, the reason why they've struggled this season, because they've still scored some goals. Only Villa and Reading have got a worse defence, and that tells its own story, really. 73% of Newcastle home games have paid that over 2.5 goals mark. Only Wigan can actually better that tally in terms of on their own turf, and that again speaks volumes, and just amazes me that when you look down at the over 2.5 goals here, it's 5 to 6. Fulham went for a bit of a funny patch with less goals in their games, having been, you know, just absolute goal feast after goal feast at the start of the season. I think at one stage, in kind of the middle of the autumn, still every single one of their away games had paid over 2.5. They've still got 67% of those paying out on that mark, and you know, I think that's enough to justify this here. They're actually in better form of late, and I think that's quite important because I think they're likely to score as a result against this Newcastle defence. Their only defeats in 2013 have actually been against the Manchester clubs. And in the last 5, they're unbeaten, 1-3, drawn 2. So I can see the likes of Berbatov and co profiting from Newcastle's rather leaky back line, and most importantly paying out that 5 to 6 for over 2.5 goals. Third and final game, as I say, also on Sunday, it's QPR Wigan. Massive game, of course. Wigan in this typical end of season form. I have to hold my hands up to them again after they denied me last week. QPR in must-win mode, and what that has done for QPR being in this mode for a little while now, because if you think back to kind of January and I think the first game of February, there was barely a goal in their games, you know, in that spell, but they've been going for it a lot more recently, and it's led to goals in their games. 5 of their last 6 have paid over 2.5 goals, and they've had 3 of those games have seen 5 goals or more, of course, including that game against Fulham at the start of this week. They've got to beat Wigan here, and therefore I expect them to come out all guns blazing and really having a go at them. So let's see. Wigan, as I say, they're up to their old tricks, spoiling my party. But I have to say, at the kind of 9-4 mark that I hear, I'm far more likely to back them than I am when they're odds on at home, which I still maintain was not the right price. There was opportunity to trade out that draw, but I'm going to leave my bitterness behind and press on with this game. That game did actually end another streak, in as much that it was 7 straight over 2.5 goals games that Wigan had up until that point. But only Norwich would go to Wigan and try and shut up shop. Really, that's generally their style, and it's had a degree of success for them. It has to be said. 71% of Wigan away games have paid over 2.5 goals. 73% overall have seen 3 or more strikes. And on that basis, it's another over 2.5 goals poke for me. 5 to 6. I've seen bigger actually than this on Friday night, but 5 to 6 that seems to be the most common price that's out there. So that's what I'm quoting, and that's what I'm going to be backing. So just to recap then, Liverpool West Ham, I'm going for Liverpool -1, even money, possibly 10 to 11 if you haven't got an account with 8th Sport. Over 2.5 goals in Newcastle Fulham, that's a 5 to 6 shot, and a similar price for over 2.5 goals again in that crunch clash between QPR and Wigan. Hopefully next week I won't be so blocked up, and hopefully I'll be celebrating 3 winners. Good luck, guys.